You've seen the Wicker Man in movies, towering wooden giants filled with screaming victims, set ablaze under a crimson sky. But here's the twist. The truth is far stranger, far crueler, and far more misunderstood than Hollywood ever dared to show. Because the real Celtic Wicker Man wasn't just a pagan boogeyman. It was a symbol, a weapon, possibly even a smear campaign engineered by Rome. Yet archaeological evidence and Iron Age ritual sites whisper something darker. Communities who believed the world ran on exchange, and the gods demanded a price. But what exactly did the Celts put inside these burning giants? Criminals? Prisoners? Entire communities? And why did their most feared ritual look less like religion and more like a community-wide performance designed to terrorize and unify at the same time? The first shock is size. Roman writers described wicker effigies so huge they could tower over hilltops, woven like giant baskets out of flexible willow, oak twigs, and reeds. To a modern eye, they looked like parade floats with a death sentence. But to Celts, these woven giants were cosmic tools connecting earth, sky, and whatever lived between. Here's the disturbing part. Many archaeologists now believe these structures were not merely symbolic. The scorch marks at ritual sites, the animal remains, the positioning of timber posts all suggest real, staged burnings. But before you think it can't get worse, this is only the structure. We haven't talked about what went inside. Julius Caesar claimed the Celts stuffed criminals into the Wicker Man and burned them alive as offerings to appease the gods. Was he telling the truth? Or crafting a justification for Roman conquest? Caesar needed Europe to fear the Gauls. Portraying them as pyromaniac executioners made invasion look like salvation. But archaeology complicates the tidy Roman narrative. Some Celtic sites show sacrifice not in grand man-shaped cages, but in pits, bogs, and altars. The question becomes, did Caesar exaggerate a real ritual or invent an atrocity from thin air? Modern historians argue both sides, but evidence of ritual burning is real, meaning the Wicker Man, if not exactly as Caesar described, wasn't pure fiction. If you were a Celt, your value to the gods depended on your value to the tribe. Criminals? Sure, burning them was killing two birds with one inferno. Prisoners of war? Absolutely, they were considered spiritually potent. But the darkest whispers suggest something else. In times of famine, disease, or war, entire groups chosen by omens, caste, or perceived divine signs might be sacrificed to restore balance. And it didn't always mean burning. Bog bodies show signs of ritual triple kill methods. Strangulation, stabbing, drowning, symbolic offerings to multiple gods. But the Wicker Man was the most theatrical version, public, towering, impossible to ignore. A ritual designed to make the community watch. Hollywood never shows the engineering behind the horror. A true Wicker Man needed a strong frame of green wood to delay collapse, a woven body of dried wicker for rapid ignition, internal compartments, yes, rooms held together with leather ties. This wasn't random chaos. It was architecture mixed with theology, a structure designed to burn layer by layer, not in one explosive flash, like a slow-moving prayer or a slow-moving execution. Some reconstructions suggest the figure's legs were left thick and damp, forcing the flames to climb upward, making the burning visible from miles away. Imagine standing on a hill, watching a god-shaped tower ignite, its limbs glowing red as the sky darkens. This wasn't just sacrifice. It was an event, a communal horror story performed live. Celtic religion wasn't organized like Rome's. There were no unified temples, no single priestly hierarchy. Instead, Druids and local tribes shaped rituals around regional powers, gods of rivers, groves, storms, and harvests. And these gods had one thing in common. They demanded reciprocity. If you wanted good harvests, victory in war, or a plague lifted, you gave offerings proportional to the request. To us, sacrificing humans to fix weather sounds barbaric, but to a world where nature held absolute power, sacrifice was insurance. Now picture the Wicker Man again, not as madness, but as a desperate plea to cosmic forces that never spoke, never wrote, and never promised mercy. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Rituals often served the powerful more than the divine. A burning Wicker Man sent messages: obey the Druids, respect the tribe, fear transgression, outsiders will not return home. The gods are watching and so are we. This was politics wrapped in mythology. Even if the ritual originally had sincere roots, leaders understood its psychological power. Watching a towering effigy burn, especially if it held prisoners, was a warning more effective than any law. In a world without written edicts, the Wicker Man was legislation by spectacle. Now for the paradox. What if the Wicker Man existed exactly as described? What if it existed only in fragments? Or what if it was never used at all, just propaganda that grew into legend? Archaeology gives us evidence of fire rituals, evidence of human sacrifice, evidence of massive wooden ceremonial structures, but no confirmed Wicker Man remains. The structure would have burned completely. All that's left are story echoes, Roman accounts, medieval retellings, folklore, and modern imagination pouring gasoline on a ritual we still don't fully understand. The Wicker Man is a mirror. To some, it reflects Celtic brutality. To others, Roman fabrication. To us today, it reflects our fascination with the ancient world's darkest corners. Because whether it was real, exaggerated, or invented, its power is undeniable, and its flames still flicker in our imagination. The Wicker Man represents everything terrifying about pre-modern Europe. Fear of nature, fear of gods, fear of each other, and fear of being powerless in a world without certainty. But it also exposes something universal. Across cultures, across eras, societies have always used ritual, violent or not, to create meaning and maintain order. The Celts just used fire. And whether the Wicker Man was myth or memory, one fact remains. Its story shows how belief, fear, and power intertwine, and how sometimes the most frightening thing isn't the ritual itself, but the reasons people believed it was necessary.